Okay, remember they're changing my voice. In the last video, I spoke about how they're idolaters, and they said that they make a lie their refuge, and falsehood their hiding place. Okay, so verse 15, Isaiah 28 says, "You boast, we have entered into a covenant with death, with the realm of the dead we have made an agreement. When an overwhelming scourge sweeps by, it cannot touch us, for we have made a lie our refuge, and falsehood our hiding place." So this is what the sovereign Lord says. "See, I lay a stone in Zion, a tested stone, a precious cornerstone, for a sure foundation. The one who relies on it will never be stricken with panic." So when Jesus says he's the stone the builders rejected, okay, and the chief cornerstone, okay, that's what it means. So again, they have to use technology to try to induce artificial panic, but I'm never actually panicked. I'm never actually afraid. Okay. It's verse 17. "I will make justice the measuring line, and righteousness the plumb line. Hail will sweep away your refuge, the lie, and water will overflow your hiding place. Your covenant with death will be will be annulled. Your agreement with the realm of the dead will not stand. When the overwhelming scourge sweeps by, you will be beaten down by it. As often as it comes, it will carry you away. Morning after morning, by day and by night, it will sweep through. The understanding of this message will bring sheer terror. The bed is too short to stretch out on, the blanket too narrow to wrap around you. The Lord will rise as he did at Mount Perazim. He will rouse himself as in the valley of Gibeon to do his work, his strange work, and perform his task, his alien task. Now stop your mocking, or your chains will become heavier. The Lord Almighty, has told me of the destruction decreed for the whole land." So you can imagine these people, they know that the Bible, these occultists, is not just some story that was written. It's based on what logically happens. What is the logical assumption of when you don't do the right thing, when you don't live in reality? Okay, there's certain penalties that come with it. Okay, it's like you play with fire, you get burned. If you mock the righteous your whole life, your DNA becomes pathetic. And if you pretend to be righteous, it just becomes that much more pathetic. So the destruction decreed for the whole land, right? No one on the planet, no one of the human race is going to escape the destruction, the spiritual destruction that will occur, that is occurring, that will occur after I'm gone. 23. "Listen and hear my voice. Pay attention and hear what I say. When a farmer plows for planting, does he plow continually? Does he keep on breaking up working the soil? When he has leveled the surface, does he not sow caraway and scatter cumin? Does he not plant wheat in his place, barley in his plot, and spelt in his field? His God instructs him and teaches him the right way. Caraway is not threshed with a sledge, nor is the wheel of a cart rolled over cumin. Caraway is beaten out with a rod, and cumin with a stick. Grain must be ground to make bread, so one does not go on threshing it forever. The wheels of a threshing cart may be rolled over it, but one does not use horses to grind grain. All this also comes from the Lord Almighty, whose plan is wonderful, whose wisdom is magnificent." Okay, so basically, it says there's a right way to do things, right? Caraway is beaten out with a rod, right? So the rod, the stick, right? There's a lot of parallels here to sparring, the rod of the ruler, okay, the spiritual power that the rod symbolizes, okay? And he's saying that, there's a logical way that things are done, that how things are cultivated, right? How a people is cultivated, okay? And the discipline and the correction from the Lord and so on and so forth, okay? Those who accept it are made ready for the harvest, okay? They keep their lamps burning. Those who don't are just, threshed forever. So grain must be ground to bread, so one does not go on threshing it forever, right? But if it cannot be made bread, for example, you just punish it forever. So, it's a little bit complicated how you put that. I wouldn't give it too much thought, because it doesn't really matter. It's one of those kind of mental labyrinths the Bible gives us, right? Bible, Bilab, right? Laboratory, labyrinth, what have you. So Isaiah 29, "Woe to David's city. Woe to you, Ariel, the city where David settled. Add year to year, and let your cycle of festivals go on. Yet I will besiege Ariel. She will mourn and lament. She will be to me like an altar hearth. I will camp against you on all sides. I will encircle you with towers and set up my siege works against you. brought low, you will speak from the ground. Your speech will mumble out of the dust. Your voice will come ghost-like from the earth. Out of the dust, your speech will whisper. So now what we see here, where it says the city where David settled, Ariel. Okay, there's more than one way to take this. Okay, I'll go as far as to say that I didn't take the time to figure out exactly what they're referring to, because first and foremost, it doesn't matter. But this is God is saying His usual thing, His formula. He said they did something wrong. Okay, God is going to move against them. He's going to bring them down. Okay, now there might be a city called Ariel. Okay, and it might be referring to Mount Zion. Again, I wouldn't take too much time learning these things. Imagine if I went out of my way to learn every detail, to learn Hebrew and the nuances of the language, and go around asking different rabbis because they don't all agree about Hebrew, and the interpretation. Okay, waste of time, tree of knowledge, garbage. Okay, but what is important here is that it says, I will encamp against you on all sides. I will encircle you with towers and set up my siege works against you. Right, so spiritual weapons of war, the weapons of His wrath. They'll be brought low out of the dust, right? They'll return to the dust. They'll whisper, and the worm who eats the dust, okay, will never be satisfied. We'll see that in Isaiah 66, okay? So then we go to verse 5. But your many enemies will become like fine dust, the ruthless hordes like blown chaff. Suddenly in an instant, the Lord Almighty will come with thunder and earthquake and great noise, with windstorm and tempest and flames of a devouring fire. Okay, so he's saying that the enemies will come and they will be destroyed. Okay, but it's important to note that they're brought down first. Okay, so what are they referring to? Are they referring to me? No. Okay, they're referring to those who seek to obey God through me, is one interpretation of this. Okay, that they've been sinning so long and they've taken so long. Now I'm about 41 years old. Okay, where were they when I was persecuted for years and years and for decades? Where were they? What were they doing? Okay, they were sinners and they're playing stupid games and they were easily deceived because their hearts were stubborn and deceptive and dishonest and so on and so forth. Okay, so they need to go through the process of being persecuted, is the argument being made here. Do I agree with that completely? No. Okay. Do I believe the Bible is infallible? No. Do I think that there's some fairness to it? Yes. Okay. Do I know for sure that after I'm gone, no one will possibly be moral? There'll just be a group of thieves and immoral scum? Yes. Okay. So the Lord Almighty will come with thunder and earthquake and great noise, with windstorm and tempest and flames of devouring fire. So you see how, again, so people might ask, well, how do you know Proverbs 34 is referring to you? It's almost an insult, but there's a lot to it. So you say, okay, I'll hold your hand through it. Okay. So we go back to Isaiah 27. In that day the Lord will punish with His sword, His fierce, great, and powerful sword, Leviathan, the gliding serpent, Leviathan, the coiling serpent. He will slay the monster of the sea. We go down to Isaiah 28, 2. See, the Lord has one who is powerful and strong, like a hailstorm and a destructive wind, like a driving rain and a flooding downpour. He will throw it forcefully to the ground. Okay, so they talk about their spiritual destruction and a certain sort of martial arts spirit. We go down to Isaiah 28:17, the scripture I quote quite often. I will make justice the measuring line and righteousness the plumb line. Hail will sweep away your refuge to lie, and water will overflow your hiding place. So again, hailstones, hailstorm, right? Okay, we go and the hailstorm from Isaiah 28:2, right? Like a hailstorm and a destructive wind, like a driving rain and a flooding downpour, He will throw it forcefully to the ground, right? It's righteousness and justice in a martial arts spirit, addressing the scum who refuse to obey God. And everybody, there's some kind of collateral damage from being in the flesh on earth, and that's about it, if you're the righteous. Now we go to, Proverbs 29:6. The Lord Almighty will come with thunder and earthquake and great noise, with windstorm and tempest and flames of devouring fire. So we see, that it is this formula that's again and again, and it's in Isaiah, who predicts the Son, and Proverbs are said to be Proverbs of Solomon, and so on and so forth. Okay. So he's a son of David, the root and offspring of David, and the bright morning star. So it's again and again and again. Okay, it's this warrior spirit being referred to, And it's something you don't simply see in someone else. For example, if it's a little baby, you think a little baby could do it. You think a little girl can do it. We see in the Bible, God says, "Who are you going to compare me to?" Okay, say, I think it's Psalm 106. It says, who can proclaim his mighty acts or fully proclaim his praise? Proclaim. So it sees somebody who is the top martial arts, right? It says in Proverbs, you see someone who's skilled in his work. He will serve before kings. He will not serve before officials of low rank. So the top martial arts ever is the one they're pointing to directly in a way that's it's unmistakable. Okay, it's not some geek in the church or something. Say, who can fully proclaim his praise? Not Flanders, okay, not Bart Simpson, okay, not Bibi Netanyahu, not Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. It is the top martial arts ever. It's not some guy in the military, right? Or the police, or some American martial arts school, or MMA. You see what I'm saying? It's a very specific type of person. It's me. All right, so where were we here? All right. Then the hordes of the nations that fight against Ariel, that attack her and her fortress and besiege her, will be as it is with a dream, with a vision in the night. When a hungry person dreams of eating but awakens hungry still, when a thirsty person dreams of drinking but awakens faint and thirsty still, so will it be with the hordes of all the nations that fight against Mount Zion. Okay, so now we see that, they're referring to Zion, and so it goes back to how I originally interpreted, when I used to read this, when I went through Isaiah before on another channel or something, okay, I referred to it as Zion. So it says, so will it be with the hordes of all nations that fight against Mount Zion. So again, is it referring to me? That's how people following the script, it played out to some degree. But, it's not a logical interpretation, and my interpretation is the one that matters, not the church's. The church doesn't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're doing. I can't stress that enough. If they did, they would obey God through me. Okay? The things that they're talking about are so obvious and real when you have mental clarity that you wouldn't be on the devil's side of the bait. You wouldn't be playing stupid. You wouldn't be trying to make it seem like, the Jews are chosen of the white man. You wouldn't be toying around. You'd be doing the right thing. Okay. Be stunned, be amazed, blind yourself and be sightless, be drunk, but not from wine, stagger, but not from beer. The Lord has brought over you a deep sleep. He has sealed your eyes, the prophets. He has covered your head, the seers. Okay, real quick. You see someone came parked, and then some fumes started coming. And not car fumes either, some kind of MK Ultra, so to speak, kind of. Anyway, the Lord has brought over you a deep sleep. He has sealed your eyes, the prophets. He has covered your head, the seers. For you, this whole vision is nothing but words sealed in a scroll. And if you give the scroll to someone who can read and say, read this, please, they will answer, I don't know how to read. The Lord says, these people come near to me with their lips and honor me with their... These people come near to me with their mouth, and honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. Their worship of me is based on merely human rules they have been taught, right? Merely church rules, government rules, corporate rules, their family rules, merely flesh-based human rules, false pride, garbage, right? Therefore, once more, I will astound these people with wonder upon wonder. The wisdom of the wise will perish. The intelligence of the intelligent will vanish, right? Intelligence agencies, right? They're just worldly people. Woe to and everyone else who thinks they're smart. Woe to those who go, except for me, obviously. Woe to those who go to great depths to hide their plans from the Lord, who do their work in darkness and think, who sees us? Who will know? You turn things upside down as if the potter were thought to be like the clay. Shall what is formed say to the one who formed it, you did not make me? Can the pot say to the potter, you know nothing? In a very short time will not Lebanon be turned into a fertile field, and the fertile field seem like the forest? In that day the deaf will hear the words of the scroll, and out of the gloom and darkness the eyes of the blind will see. Once more the humble will rejoice in the Lord, the needy will rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. The ruthless will vanish, the mockers will disappear, and all who have an eye for evil will be cut down. So obviously, it's talking about when you pass over into the spiritual realm, a new heaven and a new earth. Can you imagine these dickheads thinking that they're referring to the earth? I've actually met people who are that dumb who argued with me that they're referring to the earth, some years back, right? Very foolish, very foolish. Those who with a word make someone out to be guilty, who ensnare the defender in court, and with false testimony deprive the innocent of justice, including romantic justice. Therefore, this is what the Lord who redeemed Abraham says to the descendants of Jacob: no longer will Jacob be ashamed, no longer will their faces grow pale.